In this video, I want to show a few different ways that you can connect wires if you find a broken wire in an automotive circuit, and a few different types of connections that I would not recommend. So I've showed these tools before. This is a crimper and cutter. This one's made by Klein Tools. This is a crimper that is used to be able to crimp insulated conductors. This is made by a company called Wirefly. So I have a more detailed video of this. This is a non-insulated connection. We're going to use a crimper to crimp that, and then we covered this over the top. Once we've crimped that, made a physical connection, we cover that up and then use this heat shrink. I wouldn't recommend using a lighter on this. I would use a hot air gun. This next connection is soldered, so we use solder to be able to join the two wires. This can be a little bit tricky because it's hard to get down inside where the solder joint is. We want to make sure that we get it nice and hot, and that we also then cover it with heat shrink. One of the problems with using a solder joint, and you can see it a little bit on here, is this one was a little bit cold. So I did that on purpose, and it's got like this poked out edge. So we want to be very careful with that, that's not going to cause a problem rubbing up against other wires, or it's going to poke through the heat shrink. As far as the types of solder that you can use, so here's a solder right here. We want to use a rosin core. It's going to have a flux material on the inside. That's what actually creates most of the smoke, and this helps protect the solder joint. This style of connection, this is an insulated connector, and so we crimp this, and you can kind of see the crimp that's occurring by way of that ratcheting tool. This already has a heat shrink material on there, and you can see this has created a fairly solid connection, so these are pretty good as well. I have this style of connector right here. You'll sometimes see these used in CNC cabinets and home electronics. I haven't been able to verify on the website, the Wago, however you pronounce that, they say that this connector is okay for automotive. I've never seen it in an automotive application. It just uses this lever right here, and then shove the wire down in the hole, and then it closes. So if anybody's seen this in an actual application on an OEM vehicle, let me know. This next connector is one I do not recommend. So I think this is called a Scotch lock. It's got this little blade right here, and I have these two wires joined together right there. If I open that up, you can see what's happened here is you press the blade down inside there, and it actually pierces through the insulation and contacts the conductor. Everywhere I've ever seen these installed and there's been a fault in the system, it almost always is this connector. So a lot of times you'll get an aftermarket accessory or something similar to that, and they'll come with this type of unit. I would not use these. If you find them, it's a very good chance these are the things that are causing the problem. This is another example of a component I would not use. These are wire nuts. You find these inside a house for the electrical systems. You twist these together. Anyway, I've seen these before installed on a vehicle. Do not do that. Do not use these.